My name is Matt Mars. I have been creating content for businesses for over a decade. I am the owner of Trend Your Market and the co-owner of Captive Content, where we basically create content ecosystems that build your brand. And so short form media is easily the most relevant kind of content right now that people are doing on an active basis. And so I want to go through the three main ways that you can level up your short form content and get the best results for your business and your brand. And so the first one is UGC. And not just any kind, because obviously, so user generated content. If you've been doing this kind of stuff for any length of time, you know that this is exactly what I'm doing. As the user, I am creating content. But we're going to flip this idea on its head. And so we're going to do UGC, but we're going to actually use our followers in order to level that up. Let's just say you have 500 followers. And maybe they're engaged, they're loyal. You might even have more. I mean, let's just say you have 10,000 followers. Then you make a video that, you have a product or a service and you say, make a video about my product, and it's going to be a competition. And so in this competition, you're going to have, I don't know, let's just say 50 to 100 people do it. Let's just go low on the 50. So let's say 50 people make a video that goes to their following about and it's about you. It's about your product and your brand. I know my arrows aren't any good, so maybe I'll get better at this. So they make 50 videos, and then maybe you do a top 3 prize based off of engagement. And so user generated content, it's not just you making the content, it's actually leveraging your audience and your following to make it for you. And so this is big number one. Once you get a following, if you have a product or service, this is a super powerful way that you can do that. Number 3 is my favorite, but before we get there, let's go ahead and go into, something that you hear a little bit more often, and it's going to sound so obvious, but then you're going to look at your stuff and realize that you're not doing it. So basically, it's called, tell a story. And I want to simplify this to 3 aspects. Once again, this is going to sound so easy, and you're going to realize you're also not doing it. So beginning, middle, and end. So a lot of people know this inherently with movies, but what does this look like for a short form content? And so it is the beginning. Obviously, we always talk about our hook for short form content. Hook is one of the most powerful ways to get people past that 5-second mark, which is really important for platforms like TikTok, that if you don't get them in the first 3 to 5 seconds, it's not going to go anywhere. TikTok's not going to push it out anywhere. And so the hook is kind of your key element, driver, in starting to tell your story. The way I like to think about it is you have a hook, and then you have the delivery. So this is you delivering on your hook. And so how do you get from point A to point B? And that's the middle. And so that's the section, that's probably the hardest part to figure out. So you might spend the most time on your hook because you already typically know, well, I want to do a video that talks about delivery. And so you're going to spend a lot of time on the hook. And then the meat of it is going to be like, okay, so how do I get from point A to point B? How do I basically give them everything that I told them they would get, but how do you parse it out? And so there's a lot of different ways that you can solve for this middle section, which leads me to my favorite part. And actually don't really hear a lot of people talking about this, which is crazy to me, but it's the double hook. So we have this beginning, middle, and end. And so we have hook, we have delivery, and then from there, we have this middle section. This is kind of, we are going to parse this out a little bit. And so the hook is a question, or, maybe it's, I'm going to show you these 3 best things, and the last one's the best one. The double hook only leverages the original hook. And so what I mean by that is hook, story, but the story is not as good as the final delivery will be. And so what you can do is you give them a little bit of story, and then you just, once again, another hook that is going to say, you know what this little story that I've told you so far, it's good, but you just wait. And it can just be as simple as that. If you thought the first bit of this story was good, you need to wait for the delivery. And then from there, you just use the rest of the story to walk them to that delivery point. This third point is literally your video. This is how you should framework all of your videos moving forward on short form if you are trying to capture new viewers. I actually don't think this is as necessary if you are already leveraging your current brand and your current following. You might not be trying to get new users. Maybe you just want to do something educational, and you don't care about people sticking around who aren't your followers anyway. And so education, not always necessary, but if you're in that building the following, I think that this is always a really good leverage point to be thinking about. And so that's my top tips. UGC content, make a competition, do prizes. Maybe it's a giveaway for the ones who get the most engagement, or maybe they have their own link that you give them. And so the people that sell the most of whatever it is, then they get this prize. It doesn't even have to be something that you spend money on. It could be get a 30-minute call with me, or, make it about yourself, which then just, if they are willing to make content about your brand, that means that they probably really care about you and they want to know you more. And so making that the prize point is a really easy, free way to give your time and reward your faithful users. And then the people who don't win, then they want to obviously wait for the next one in hopes that they can. But tell me in the comments below, what kind of framework do you use? Is it something similar to the Tell Your Story framework? Had you ever heard of the double hook? But if you guys like this content that's just kind of me hanging out in the car, writing some stuff down about how we do it for other businesses, let me know in the comments below. Of course, like, comment, subscribe for more. See you guys later.